work. So let's do a $200,000 deal. Let's do a $1 million deal. So, right?
Yeah.
It's just thinking bigger, growing your mindset, and growing your capabilities.
Hey guys, this is Carlos, Daryl, Dylan, and our special guest today. His name is Todd Miller. He is a Richmond sensation. No, he's a top performing wholesaler who's changed the landscape of not just Richmond in the wholesale market and just real estate in general, but then is also now doing it nationally. So we're gonna ask him a bunch of questions. Stick around, listen to this interview, and for the time being, hit that like button, hit that
subscribe button,
that bell. And comment,
share.
Any kind of questions that we don't get answered today, put them in a comment, and then we'll do a follow up, and then maybe just show up to his office and ask it to him live.
You're already here.
Yeah.
We're already here. Intro.
All right, guys. This is Generation H.
Isn't this fun time?
That's good.
Let's
play around.
So I don't know. I mean, there's so much to start with, Todd, right? I mean,
how about this? Just give us a little background on how did you get started in real estate, or what made you pursue real estate?
Sure. Yeah, I was working in a sales job at a truck leasing company. I did that for probably, 15 years or so. And just tired of being, I wasn't broke because I made good money, but, at the end of the month, all the bills were paid and there's not much left over. Credit card debt's going up, and it's like I just decided that, hey, I had to start bringing in some additional income and not rely upon my job to do that. So I loved real estate, and I just basically dove online, figuring out how I could start making money with real estate with little to no money, and came across wholesaling at that point. And I just dove into it. Like, I literally would work all day, come home, have dinner with my family, spend a few hours with them, and then I'd be up till like 2 o'clock in the morning just learning about wholesaling and how to do it, how to get set up, and just dove head in on it. So
what was it about real estate? Because what
made you pick?
Yeah, I mean,
specifically, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and pretty much, real estate has made hundreds of thousands of millionaires, and that's kind of the path that I was like, okay. I didn't really think I wanted to start a true company at that point. Just, hey, I'm gonna go out and flip some real estate, make some cash that way, and then start holding it to build long-term wealth. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now to take us back to the first step, when you were 15 years deep in your trucking company sales, when was it that you did your first actual deal, or when was it that you read Robert Kiyosaki that changed your mindset?
I started my wholesaling company in 2009, so it was probably
right after
13 years
Yeah,
ago, right after the crash.
Right in the midst of the crash.
Yeah. That was the reason why I went in, because Kiyosaki talks about zigging when other people are zagging, and you want to go against what the market is actually doing.
I have questions about that as we're going into the.
It's like they say, when there's fear, get greedy.
Well, everybody was like, oh, real estate, I'm getting out. Oh, real estate, I'm getting out. I'm like, great, I'm getting in. So,
Nice.
So that's when you started studying, how to do it, and learning how to do it. And then how long after that did you actually get your first one under contract?
It actually took me about 2 years to do my first deal, believe it or not. So,
Oh, wow.
like, when I first started, it wasn't really like the information age like it is now, where you can, have a list, have it pulled, have it skip trace, and start talking to sellers within half an hour.
Yeah.
Back then, it was postcards, right? You direct mail. You just basically sent the mail out. You pulled the list, you sent the mail out, waited for a week or two, hoped the phone would ring, and then you started talking
Open
to
up the
sellers.
newspaper.
So process was a little different back then. A lot less competition back then as well, which was nice. But
So you started off
it took me a while.
with mailers. That was how you got your first deal.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually I partnered with a guy out of Chesapeake, because I had a full-time job, right? So I wanted to be smarter and be able to get more done.
Yeah.
So I quickly figured out that, hey, I didn't want to do all the stuff related to the business. I would rather just have a partner, and he handled all the marketing, all the pulling and hiring of VAs and all that stuff.
And you had the sales side.
And I had the sales background, right?
Mhm.
So we got the leads. I talked to the people that came in as leads, locked up the contracts, and then I would also go out and sell the contracts, and then we would just split the money 50-50.
And your partner, he was already doing wholesaling when you went to him, or was he brand new at it too?
No, he was already doing it.
Okay.
But he had only started probably a year or so before me.
In Chesapeake, he wasn't doing it.
Right, Chesapeake.
Oh, okay. So he was just helping you with like the Richmond market, and he'd still get that 50% of.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, how long was it from the time you got the first deal till you got the second deal? Were they back to back after that?
Yeah, it
2
was
years?
pretty consistent after that.
Okay.
Once that first one hit, that was kind of like proof of concept, right?
Yes.
And it just kind of took off from there. So I mean, when I started again, I was only part-time, doing it part-time. I still worked it full-time, but luckily I had flexibility because I was in sales, so I'm always out running around on the streets and. All right, I gotta go talk to this seller, so I'm gonna go talk to this seller. Oh, and I can stop in and see these customers at the same time, so it worked out pretty well. But we put systems in place with my partner, and basically, we would probably do one or two deals a month on average.
Nice.
Once we got it rolling. So.
And you were still working full-time job?
Still working full-time job. Yep.
How long did you work that full-time job before you went all in?
It was, let's see, I'm married for 6 years, so it was about 7 years ago when I quit that full-time job, so 2002, so around 2015. So
Okay.
I ran it that way for a while, yeah.
5 years,
For a
okay,
while.
wow.
And then basically what had happened is my company came to me and they decided that they wanted to cut our commissions in the middle of the year, and at that point, because I had taken steps to generate income outside of that job, it just gives you a lot of power. And I just basically looked right at him and I was like, there's no way you're cutting my pay, you're cutting my salary. I was like, I appreciate the job, but you can take the job and go elsewhere with it. I said, I'm
But
done.
you saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, even back in 2008, 9, right, when you got started, you knew that something like that was going to happen. Right. Like.
Yeah. So, and I was making 6 figures at that point in the sales job, and you just break it down. I'm doing 1 to 2 deals part-time at it, so really all I got to do is 1 more deal a month, and then that replaces that whole income.
Yeah.
And I'm only doing it part-time, so if I do it full-time, I should be able to do 2 to 3 times of what I'm already doing already. So I just dove in, and then I told my partner, hey, I'm going full-time now. I'm gonna do this on my own, and then started to set up all the processes and stuff for myself at that point.
Nice. And so now after you went all in is when you actually got good systems in place to take it to the next level, or
No.
how did
I was a one-man show pretty much. So,
Okay.
Just, grinded and worked all the time, did it all myself. And
your wife still married you after a year.
Absolutely. Had a lot of support in that.
Ride or die.
That was good. So, and then eventually my son came and he started working with me. And at that point, I kind of systematized a few things with him. He did more of our projects at that time, kind of learned the business as I taught him. And then just kind of grew it out from there. I didn't really get like super systematized until I started going to like masterminds with other like-minded wholesalers that are national across the country. And basically, I love to learn. I love to grow. So I wanted to be around guys that are doing $1 million, $3 million, $5 million. We got people in our group that do $20 million just wholesaling properties. So you learn a lot just by being around like-minded people like that, and just watching how they do it and just taking that in and then coming back and setting it up. But my wife is our COO, and she's the one that really spearheaded as far as setting up SOPs and KPIs and all that stuff, and getting the company to where we need to be and where we are today.
Was she working before? Did she have a full-time job, or like when you took the leap, you were doing wholesaling full-time, she also had a full-time job?
Yeah. She didn't come on board with us full-time until maybe like a couple years ago. So that's really when it really kind of all took off for me and for us. So
and the process and operation, the smoothness of being able to scale.
Well, just having things trackable, having things being accountable to personnel and all that stuff. So she really set it up and opened my eyes to what we kind of needed to do. I'm more of a visionary type person. In your business, you want to have a visionary person that kind of leads and grows and comes up with ideas and stuff like that. I'm not very good at implementation, and like that's where she's excellent. So we kind of meld very well together.
That's cool.
And you always got to have that integrator person that can put it all together for you.
So would you say she's doubled your business?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we've doubled our revenues since last year. So
Nice.
Yep.
So year over year, she is.
Yep. We doubled it last year, and our goal is to double it again this year, and we're on pace to do that. So
Nice.
yeah, so doubling it 2 years in a row. So
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, 2015, you're a one-man shop. 2-3 years in, you finally got a few systems, and then
Yep.
she comes in year 3 or 4 and
Yeah,
takes it to a
son
whole
comes
other
in.
level.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did you have to teach her like what wholesaling was, or like kind of how you go about?
No, not really, because she's just a super smart person altogether, and she was with me the whole time. Like she would go to my masterminds with me.
Oh,
She actually got me into my mastermind. It's a funny story. That's another story for another day. But so she was with me. She saw what we do. She saw how I did it.
That's cool.
And so she kind of knew the industry, and she's just super smart on top of that. So she can pick up things really quickly and learn. And she geeks out on processes and KPIs and SOPs.
What was she doing before?
She came from a mortgage background. She was in the mortgage compliance industry.
So she's a process person.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
super.
Okay. So like
super smart.
the SOP
Nice.
part came natural to her.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking on masterminds, where do people, if someone wanted to get into mastermind, like how did you find out about a mastermind? How did you join it? And also, if you don't mind sharing, what did it cost?
Yeah. So I guess it started off, I was just, trying to find systems and learning online, and I came across this guy named Sean Terry, who's Flip to Freedom, and I just went to a couple, I think the first event I went to his, I paid, I don't know, a couple grand probably to do that, and that's where I met the majority of the guys that are in my mastermind that I'm in now at his place. So, but I mean, I've paid all kinds of money for masterminds and growth and mentality. I mean, I'm not afraid to go out and shell out cash for that stuff, because you can elevate your business and grow way quicker than you basically would if you try to figure everything out yourself.
If you're open-minded, because I feel like a lot of people go in and they're like, I already know everything.
Yeah, usually those people don't even go to a mastermind.
Don't even go to
Yeah.
Now, was this a local mastermind, or you had to travel somewhere?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah, I was in Arizona.
Okay, yeah, because that's one thing.
Nice weather, so I was like, all right, we'll go out there.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand, just going to your local RIAs is nice, it gets you started, but if you want to scale to the level you're at, you have to reach outside of that range.
Yep.
And go with people that are nationally doing this on a higher scale, because
Yep.
there's probably a handful of people doing it here in Richmond, but there's hundreds of people, thousands of people doing it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took you going to Arizona to meet the group that you're in,
Yep.
that took you times 10 of what you were doing.
Yeah, if I wasn't in the mastermind I'm in now, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. There's no doubt in my mind. So,
That's awesome.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
So we want to kind of dive in a little bit on like how you run your business. And so first off, I want to talk about virtual assistants with you, because I know, well, first off, how many do you have?
We just hired a bunch more, so I have like 7. I think it's 7. It might be 8.
In all offshore in different
Offshore,
countries.
and they're all of my virtual assistants are in the Philippines. So we have like 8 calling VAs that do. I think we got like 3 of them on the dialer, dialing out, looking for leads, cold leads, and then the rest are all like follow-up types. Because I have over probably 10,000 some records in my CRM right now. That's a lot of follow-ups. So they're doing follow-ups, and then also answering the phone when somebody rings from our outbound marketing efforts. So we have 8 there. We have 2 data VAs. All they do is pull lists, skip trace lists, filter stuff, get it all set up.
You have 2 people that do that full time?
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of data. You get to do business like that. You gotta have a lot of
Yeah.
data. You run through a lot of data. So yeah.
So how many people are you like skip tracing? Would you say a month? 80,000, 100,000 people?
more.
Probably not that many. I think we send about 40 to 50,000 postcards a month currently.
Wow.
And then So we'll skip trace all of those people. But a lot of those we've already skip traced before. You know,
Yeah, so they
we
just
don't
get
chart right.
miscellaneous.
Yeah.
They're just getting,
And then maybe another, I don't know, 10 to 20,000. So yeah, like 70,000 people. a month.
So to us, that sounds like big numbers, right? 'Cause, I mean, we don't wholesale, we don't do any of that. But is it as easy as like sending 500? It's not very different. Obviously, it's more at scale, but like 500 is not very different from 5,000. It's not very different from 15,000. It's not very different from 50,000. Obviously, the inbound, outbound is at scale. It's more, but like the systems, as long as you have a good system at 500. Do you think that would support a 15,000, a 50,000?
No, as you get a little bigger, you gotta have more systems and more people in place. I mean, I could probably do 500 myself. I can't do 50,000 myself. So it's just I would freak out if I had 50,000 records of data that just got thrown at me. So I would probably be locked in a room for days trying to figure out all that data. So where we pay them and they do it all and they sort it all and get it all configured the way it needs to be done and upload it into all of our systems, our CRMs, our dialers, and then they just basically handle it all. I would not want to do that or try to do it.
Now, when they're doing this, how many touch points are you doing? Are you touching these same skip trace leads multiple times, like 4, 5, 6 times, reaching postcards, calling? And...
Absolutely. I mean,
is there a secret number? Because I know in sales, it's generally 9 touch points are typically to get one sale. Is it the same in wholesaling?
Yeah, same in wholesaling. Like 7 to 9 times is generally how long it takes just to even get them on the phone.
Gotcha.
Most people are going to quit after 1 or 2 attempts.
They are.
So that's why I don't really worry about competition. Because to me, I already have the mentality that we're not ever going to quit. We're not going to stop trying to contact them. Where I know everybody else, they get one no and they put their tail between their legs and they crawl away.
Yeah.
So you can't do that in sales. You can't do that in wholesaling. So you got to be
You're just
mentally
going to
tough.
outwork your competition pretty much.
And never stop. We won't quit unless they sell the house or they I don't know. If they die, we're definitely
We're still going out there.
That's a good lead. But yeah, unless they sell the house or they basically threaten that they're going to sue us if we keep trying to follow them, then we'll take them off.
I was going to say, for compliance reasons, don't you have to go through the compliance and all that, do not call compliance and all that?
Supposed to.
He does. He definitely does.
Well, we do litigators. We skip and we take out litigators, but I don't always
Take out the
take out the do not calls, because if you take out your do not calls,
That's half the list.
it's more than half the list most of the time.
And you already paid for those leads, right?
Yeah, and most people that are on the DNC will give you some grace, and they just say, hey, I'm on the DNC, and then we take them, we just note that, and then we don't call those people anymore. So,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, but we'll take some chances.
So you do calls? You do calls and postcards? Are you just sending any like text messages, or is it really just postcards and calls?
Just postcards and calls currently right now.
I mean, it's working.
Oh, yeah, it's working.
You guys are doubling.
Yeah, we get about what we spend and what we do. We're probably about 100 leads a week right now, close to 100 leads.
Wow. Like hot leads, 100 hot leads.
Not hot leads.
No.
To me, a lead is anybody that raises their hand and they say they want to sell their house. Whether it's
gotcha.
Retail, or it doesn't matter. You want to sell your house, that's cool. But we'll partner with realtors too. So the guys that are not very warm, they just want give me your offer, whatnot. That we'll network with and work with realtors to pass those leads to. And if they get a listing, we get a marketing feedback from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm monetizing all my leads.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're getting a
It's
little
costing
piece.
you.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're getting the big piece, you're getting a tiny piece of
And
everything.
most people don't do that.
Exactly. They just let it go. Oh, you're looking for a one market. Okay, bye.
Now, of your calls and your postcards, if you had to give it a percentage of success rate, would you say it's like 50-50, or are calls like a 60%, so more successful than
Success
postcards?
rate being how you define that? What do you mean?
That
Wherever you
eventually
most
generates. I won't call it a lead. We'll call it a lead, right? Just anybody, warm, cold, whatever. Just like touch back, or they get in touch with you. Not necessarily like a successful contract that you then sell. Because those are opportunities, right? Like.
Yeah, I would have to look at that, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I would say the majority of our deals come from postcards right now. So I just have started to scale the calling side a little bit more here recently. But we're way more profitable
On the postcard?
On the calling.
Oh, on the calling.
Postcards are expensive.
Yeah.
You're paying 99
So
cents.
postcards is probably like 90% of my marketing budget each month.
Oh wow, so you're spending a lot more on
Yeah. Yeah.
postcards.
Now your typical postcard is what, 60 cents, 80 cents, somewhere in that range? or-
Not that high. I think we're
Okay.
42 cents right now.
Okay,
Postcard because we send a lot.
gotcha.
So if
Because
you,
in volume, it goes down the more you send.
so if you
Yeah.
bought a marketing company that made postcards,
I have no desire to do that.
Who do you use for your postcards?
Yeah.
We use Yellow Letter HQ.
Okay.
Okay,
YellowLetterHQ.com.
nice. And they just send out, and basically you skip trace the leads, enter them into their system, and then they generate. Is it like a standard postcard that you send, or is it custom every
Well,
one?
no, we don't skip trace those. We would just pull the list and then send the list
Oh, okay,
straight,
gotcha.
straight to them. And they'll, it has to be formatted a certain way. So that's what the data VAs do. Once
Gotcha.
the list is pulled, we'll actually physically pull it. My wife will, Jerry, and she'll just send it to them and be like, here, format it. And they know the format that it has to be set into to go to the postcard people. And they know the format that they have to put it in to be uploaded to get it skip traced. So
Gotcha.
it's like just sorting and doing all that data.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Especially like with skip tracing, if you have a John Smith and a Jan Smith, that when that record comes in, it's usually together, right? John and
Yeah.
Jan Smith. So we have to create a formula that will separate it and put John on one line and Jan on another line,
Oh,
and then
okay.
send it up to the skip trace place.
Gotcha. And then that typical postcard, is it more of like a letterhead, like a letter, or is it like one of your little 4x6 postcards?
4x6.
Okay.
Just basic. 4x6. Nothing
That's awesome.
special about it.
Yeah.
Just, we want to buy your house.
We want to buy your house?
Yeah.
Nice.
So you mentioned previously that you usually don't look at that. You usually actually don't physically go and see, neither you or your staff go see the houses.
Correct.
You get it under contract all virtually. They sign a contract, I guess, through DocuSign or something like that. How do you get the seller to trust you to know that you're a reliable company if you're not even meeting with them and shaking their hand or anything like that?
A few ways we do that. Like one is just having a website. You know, a lot of people don't have websites. We have a website, obviously. Another is we have an office right here. So you know, we can like here pull it up. Like you can see that I own this
Okay.
office. We're here. We invite them to come to us a lot as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Come into us, and we utilize our title companies and attorneys that we use. Like here, talk to them. They'll tell you how many deals that we've done, and you know, and then we also use our previous customers that we bought houses from, and just let them talk to them as well. So
Nice.
we don't hide it. We actually push that issue a lot. So and we tell people when we're on a deal and we're talking to them, if they decide to go with somebody else or deciding to go with somebody else, then we'll bring up those. Oh, do they have a website? No, they don't have a website. Okay, well, where's their office? Well, it's a PO box.
Yeah.
Well, so then we can use that to get some
Your
doubt,
advantage.
in their mind, and use it to our advantage, of course. Do they have proof of funds, right? I'll send you any
I'll send
proof
it
of
to you
funds
today.
that you need, right?
Yeah.
So there's just other ways of selling and using that to your advantage that we capitalize on.
So since you're selling the house, also you're finding a buyer. If you don't go to the house or anything, you don't put a lockbox on, I assume, or maybe you do.
After the fact, we do.
Okay, so after you get under contract, then you usually go and check out the
Yeah,
house.
that's when my dispo person will go out there and he'll actually meet the people at the house or even meet buyers
Yeah.
of ours at the house or inspectors, whatever we're doing with that house, whether we're taking it down or gonna wholesale it out, because I do keep, some of our deals as well.
Okay, so you keep them, not
Yeah,
just wholesale.
I'll do flips. I'll flip some. We'll wholesale some. I'll keep some as rentals, and then we'll wholesale the rest.
Nice.
So, just
How do you
depending on-
dictate whether or not you're keeping, wholesaling, or whatnot? Do you do that after it gets under contract? Do you make that decision, or usually before?
Yeah, usually after we'll look at the deal, see where it's at.
Okay.
Depending on where my cash situation is at the time too. If you're tied up into a bunch of projects, it's not like you can go out and buy a bunch of houses when your money's all tied up. Although we do use other people's money quite a bit, so then we just look at it. So is it something I like? I like to keep ranchers, like little
Nice.
small starter homes. I love ranchers. I love multifamily. So any of those we'll try to keep as many as we can. And if it's like a big house with a big rehab, that's not something I want to do.
Gotcha.
Get into. So then we'll wholesale that wholesale those out.
Okay, nice.
So since you don't visit the properties, let's say they take pictures, whatever, or no, I'm sorry, you don't even see the property, and you get it under contract for X amount, and then you actually go to the property, you're like, dang, they said this was in a lot better condition than it was. Do you then go back to the seller, renegotiate?
Yes.
And then,
We have
how
both.
often does that happen where?
I wouldn't say it's that often, to be
Okay.
honest with you. Maybe 1 in 10.
Okay.
In every 10 of our deals, we have that situation. And then we just go back and have a real conversation with the seller. I mean, we keep good notes when we're locking it up, and this is what we're offering. You know, and then if you get out there and there's a foundation issue and they didn't say anything about a foundation, you just go back and have a real conversation about it. Like, hey, this was not in the condition that you told us. And sometimes they don't even know. Like, you know, it's an out-of-state owner, they haven't seen the property in a couple of years. Well, last I know, it was fine. It was in good shape, right? You get out there and it's not. And then you just have a conversation with them about it. So.
And sometimes it's probably in better condition than you thought. Has that ever happened?
Very rare.
A lot of homeowners would be like, "Oh, my house is the nicest house you'll ever see." And you walk in like, "What?
Everything's fine.
Everything's great. You don't have to update anything. Just move right in."
Shag carpet.
Yeah, shack. Wood paneling walls and.
And how much average pay salary for these virtual assistants that are calling $6 an hour for the Philippines?
No, my callers I started at $4.
Okay,
nice.
My data people I started at $2. They all get $4. They get $4.
$2?
They get $2. Yeah.
Wow.
They get $4 an hour. So, and then the callers I have are like $4 to $7 range, depending upon seniority and how long they've been here. And then one thing I do with them is I bonus them on every deal that they get. So if they talk to a seller, they set an appointment up for our acquisitions team, and then the acquisition rep gets it under contract. The VA will get a bonus for like $100 for that. So
Nice.
It's a lot for them. Huh?
yeah, it's a lot. It's not a lot for me, but it's a lot for them, and it incentivizes them to make more calls, to be more dedicated on the team. And then I also set up a kitty for them. I take good care of the VAs because they're the core of my business. And if you take care of these people, they will take care of you. What I do is we have revenue goals for each quarter. And then if we hit our revenue goals, I'll put like another 1% into a kitty for all the VAs, where they can basically have a quarterly bonus on top of the other bonuses that they normally get. I think we paid out like $600 quarterly bonus to all of our VAs last quarter.
Nice.
When they hit their goal, and we give them I give them a dinner, so I let them go out to dinner, have a big party with the team, everybody celebrating, have some drinks, have some nice food.
Nice.
And they get their bonuses too.
Have you ever been out there to visit?
I have
them?
not, but that's
Okay.
That'd be cool.
I'm definitely doing that, and we're
Nice.
definitely going, trying to get it set up to get that done. Of course, we just had an earthquake out there yesterday.
Oh, did they?
So yeah, it's a little crazy right now. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. So.
That's awesome.
No, you take care of them, you treat them well, and I mean, like now, we're very picky about who we let on the team. We call them Team Campeon, which is champion in Tagalog, and they'll like, if somebody's not doing their job, they're like ratting each other out. Like, this person's not making calls.
Nice.
So I don't even really have to deal or handle the VAs anymore. I have a lead VA that is basically in charge of everybody, and if I have an issue, I just contact him, and then he contacts and handles it. But I mean, all the time there's like we hired new ones. I hired like 3 new ones a couple weeks ago. We went through all 3 of those really quick because they weren't dedicated. But they were like, hey, this person's not doing it. This person's not doing it. They'll tell me really quick on whether they're good, not good, showing up, not showing up. So I don't really even have to track anymore. I just tell them, hey, we need another VA. Go out and find me another VA, and they'll bring them back to us.
I mean, if the culture's good, then they're gonna bring some.
Exactly. Now, your lead VA, is he doing the training for the rest of the? Okay, so you don't even have to train him anymore.
Nope.
Now, when you were first getting started, how did you put a system in place to train the VA to do exactly what you were looking to do?
So basically what I did is I just did it all myself, right?
Okay.
So, and then I captured everything on a screen capture device. I used like Screencast-O-Matic, I think is what it was. And I would just basically go step by step on every single process that they do. And I would record myself doing it. And then I created those links to those videos. And then when I would hire a new VA, I would just basically, here's a sheet, go watch all the videos, go through the training process. And if you have any questions at the end of the day, we can talk about it at the end of the day. So kind of systematizing it.
So something you can't really train is like how good a salesperson someone is. right?
Mhm.
So like, how are you screening that, or is it like, are you looking at their resume? Like, how are you finding, or are you just putting them through, having them become a VA, seeing how they are on the phone, can close deals, and that's kind of the stuff.
Yeah, so like the VA's role is very, very basic. Their main job is to get about 5 questions answered for me, and then just set up an appointment if the person wants to sell their house at that point. So we keep it very simple. Really, the only thing I care about when I hire a VA is how they sound on the phone. Literally, I don't care if they have any real estate experience at all. I can train them to do that. So as long as they sound good, they don't have a really heavy accent. That's the most important part to me in my system. And because I know I can train them, and we do a weekly sales training for everybody all the time. Anyway, like we don't ever stop sales training. We do it all the time, every week. For like an hour. They're on it for an hour. We'll just go through calls and we'll listen to each other's calls, and then we'll be like, hey, what did they do good on this call? What did they do bad on this call? You know, did they get these 5 script questions answered for us? Did they get the appointment? Did they not get the appointment? You know, what could they have done different? And we're just always talking.
All of that sounds very like corporate.
Yeah.
Like I
So
mean,
you went from your corporate to make it your corporation.
yeah, because all that from their bonuses, incentive structures, because like in the car industry, they'll do like monthly volume bonuses, and they'll do the quarterly ones, and there's, and then to like listen back to your calls. I used to be a service advisor a long time ago, and we would do that. So like sit on each other's, we listen to each other's phone calls, and you were like, why didn't you sell that brake service? It was like, well, it was because like, I think you need brake service. It's like, no,
Right.
you need brake service.
Yeah.
And your car is up in the air, and we can really.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a simple question at the end of a call, like, you know, hey, do you have anything else you're looking to sell? Right? And most people don't answer the question, and that's like just a simple, easy question. Now, you're probably 99 times out of 100 they're going to say no, but that one time that they do, maybe you get a $20,000 wholesale fee out of it, you know, because you just asked that simple question. So we're always pushing them to be better. We have a 1% growth mindset each day. Just try to go out and get 1% better. So we push being champions, being better, training, growing, competitiveness. Like, with VAs, you have to keep that up. Like, you know, we track their KPIs. Their goal is to get 3 to 4 leads a day. If they don't make a certain amount of calls and get a certain amount of leads each day, you know, they'll get written up. So, you know, it's sales business, and it's not what you did last week. It's, you know, each and every
It's
day.
sales,
And that's why we focus.
Yeah.
We have a team meeting at 9 o'clock every day, and we go over numbers with them every day. And every day it's, hey, go out, just win today. That's all you gotta do is go out, do your job today, win today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about if you didn't do it yesterday. Just go out and be great today.
And they're doing like regular 8-hour days, 10-hour days.
Yep.
And so how long
Their times are different.
Yeah, they're 12 hours different.
Yep.
So you're all having to start earlier because of that, or later, or they're working through the night.
They're working
essentially.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
work all the night.
That's why they get the $2 an hour. So are you always, how much time do you spend working with your VA? You said every day you do have a meeting. So how much time does it take for you, I guess, during the meetings, like 30 minutes a day? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, for the most part, just
Okay.
about 30 minutes. I mean, we'll have some communication. Like right now, we're hiring new VAs, and he's training, my lead VA is training new VAs, so I'll have a few conversations throughout the day with him. And I actually promoted my very best VA probably about 6 months ago now into an acquisitions role. So I do have to meet with him each morning for 30 minutes or so before my team meeting. I meet with him and we go over all of his appointments for the day, and I kind of like set a baseline on the offers of how he's going to talk to each lead, which kind of helps him out a little bit. So.
And now he has a different bonus or like incentive.
Yeah, he's totally paid. He's paid totally different. So he's paid.
He's motivated now.
Yeah, he's paid a little more. He gets a little more of a base salary. He gets a little higher bonus on his deals, and but in my U.S. acquisitions people, I pay like usually 10% of the deal, and I don't have to pay him that. So it's a big savings to me. I'm just kind of testing that out.
I mean, if that
Another mentor of mine has been doing that, and he's had some luck with it. It's kind of hit or miss sometimes with the person. we had some turnover here recently, and I tried to add a couple in, and it didn't work out. It has to be the right VA with the right attitude, and the one that I have is he's awesome. So he's always positive attitude, always wanting to do deals. If he has a bad day, he don't care. He's still happy the next day. Because he's making really good money based on Philippine income. So.
And this is your head VA, right? The one that.
No, he's not my head VA.
Oh, because you have a head VA and an acquisition manager VA.
Nice.
And how long have you had the head VA that now looks over the other ones?
Oh, wow. He's probably been with me 2 years, 3 years.
Was he your first hire or first hire? Is he the longest? I guess.
No, I've got another VA that was my longest. One more that's tenured a little, and then my acquisition guy has been here long too. Those three are my core. So one girl was the lead VA. Then another role came open that I wanted to just try, and I gave her first opportunity. She decided she wanted to step down from that role and go into this different role. And then I promoted the other guy up to the lead VA manager. So him and her, and then Mark, my sales guy, were like the three core ones that I had for a long time. So,
Nice.
and they've kind of fed me good quality VAs outside. Anytime I'm like, hey, we need to hire another one. Can you go out and find one? They're 9 times out of 10 they're bringing people now. I think now we've kind of got to the point where we have so many. I've had to use onlinejobs.ph is where I typically find them. So we've been kind of going back for this last hire and utilizing that website to find more talent.
Nice. Yeah, because
We had a lot of turnover too. Though,
Yeah.
it's typically difficult to find good VAs that stick with you and
Yep.
are willing to do what you need them to do for long periods of time. So.
Yeah. I have a rule, so if I have one opening for a VA, I hire 3. So because really quickly, one's not going to show up the first day.
Yeah.
One's not going to show up the second day. Like literally, we hired 3 a week or 2 weeks ago, and all 3. It was like 3 days in a row. One person left, second person left, third person left. So then we've gone back and hired again, and our second time around, we've had a little bit better luck. So you always want to hire more, and then that way kind of create a competition for the job. Like we're hiring 3, we're gonna keep the best person.
Oh, you tell them that up front.
Yeah.
It's all
And
based
the
on
other team
performance.
tells them too, like, when I was interviewing for the roles, like, I just let them talk to the VAs that work for me currently. And they love me. They love working for our company. So, they straight up tell them. And they also set the tone of, hey, we're champions, and if you don't want to come here and be the best you can be, or you're just coming for 8 hours and getting a check and then leaving, don't come here. Like, you got to come here and you got to bring it every day. So, and that's just the culture I've created, and that's the mentality we have, and that's where we're gonna keep it at. So everybody, we gotta be killers, man.
In order to grow, you have to have that mindset, even passed down from the top to the bottom.
Well, you just gotta you gotta want it, and then 2, you gotta be willing to work for it. So, and if, you could want it but not want to work for it, that's not gonna work. Or you can work for it but not want it, that's not gonna work either. So you gotta have both of those. Be very competitive, and just wanting to always be better. So
Nice. That's cool.
Yep.
You'll have more about VAs?
Want to do a different topic, or you want to stay?
So I have some just like general mindset, like personal stuff, business stuff. So you've been in the game since 2008, 2009.
Really? Yep.
So you've been in it for a while, 13 so years. You've seen a lot of changes within the last 2, just within your personal business, outside of like what's going on in the market. Where do you see, obviously taking into consideration everything that's going on in the real estate market now, rates, all that kind of stuff, where are you looking to be yourself with your business in like 5 years, 3 years, 5 years?
3 years and 5 years? That's a really good question. I don't know if I think that long term, unfortunately. So, I could tell you one thing, and then it might shift at that point. So I just basically have a goal, like where I want to get financially, and I know once I get to that goal financially, it might change a little bit. Like right now, I'm in growth mode. I want to grow. I want to keep increasing my revenue, keep increasing my deals, keep increasing markets that I'm going into. Based upon that, but we have to be ready for it, right? You can't just jump from one market into like 5 markets, and that's a lot of what I see with coaching people that I coach right now is, they're just like, hey, well, I'm marketing to this city and that city and this city, and I'm like, yo, whoa, wait, you gotta slow down, you gotta focus. Like, let's pick one and let's get really good at that one. And then once we get really good at that one, we can implement those systems in place and go to the next one. Right?
Yeah.
So we just try to take that approach. I try to slow them down and really get them to think a little bit more instead of, hey, this guy said Birmingham's great. This guy said Knoxville's great.
Yeah.
So they're like trying to do any market
Trying to
that
get
they
all
said
the
was
birds.
great, and you
Yeah,
can't be
same page.
successful doing that.
Okay, so you mentioned being financially free. Now that means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. That can be a financially free number because of cash flow, right? Like I have X amount of units and this is what my cash flow is. Is that more of a rental cash flow focused thing, or is that more of a business is running, your son is taking it over, or somebody else is taking it over, and then you and your wife like kind of check out, and you're just more like on the board type of thing?
Yeah, well, that's my goal right now. Is what I'm trying to grow to get that, so where I can just basically come in and be like a 10-minute CEO, give me a high overview.
Yeah.
Here's our numbers. Here's what we did. Again, going back to KPIs and tracking things, and where I don't really have to be that involved. So obviously that's a process. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still pretty heavily involved with everything that we do right now. But I'll definitely get there. Like that's what we're moving towards.
So you started with wholesaling. You have done some flips. You're successful at your flips. You do some wholesaling. The wholesaling obviously requires less work. The wholesaling requires significantly less work, kind of on the back end once you've already left it up.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still really heavy on the wholesaling side, right? So is there a reason for that?
Because it's the easiest thing to do, and it's the quickest way to get cash in your pocket.
Okay.
I want that quick cash. I mean, I'll take a little bit less on a quick cash. A lot of these deals I could probably rehab them and make, 4 times, 5 times whatever I make on a wholesale fee, right? But to me, there's effort, there's energy, there's, you gotta buy materials, you gotta attract contractors, babysit contractors, and I don't wanna do that stuff. I try to keep our rehabs are just basically like lipstick type stuff that we can just go in, change out carpets, do very minimal stuff, put it back on, and get it rolling. So, and then anything that I want to keep, we'll go into that stuff. So I'm basically just focusing my rehabs on to my rentals and also just light fixer up type stuff. So the rest I'm just gonna wholesale it out.
So would you say that you're wholesaling about 80% of what you bring in, or is it more than that?
It's probably less than that actually right now. Where I'm in heavy mode of buying and holding as much as I possibly can because I really want to grow my long-term net worth. And that's the best way to do it is to start holding properties and have, if you're buying properties at 70 cents on the dollar, it's a $100,000 house, you just got 30,000 in equity, right?
Yeah.
And you do that over and over and over again, you can build your net worth out pretty quickly. So, and that'll be my end game at the end when I'm at the point where I want to be. I'll just sell everything off and basically just start lending out my money at that point.
And you call it leasing out?
Leasing out my money. Who wants to sign a lease?
Okay. How soon after you did your first wholesale deal in 2010, right? So you got some money in, cool, you saw a good cash flow, then you left your job 5-6 years later, then you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this full time, you saw the money coming in, it exponentially started growing. At what point did you decide you probably already knew that you wanted to keep some houses because you read Robert Kiyosaki and like you knew that was the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at what point did you start to keep some of the stuff for
I think it
yourself?
was in 2012 when we bought my first rental property. So
Okay, so you were
you're still
slowly
at the job.
before
Yeah.
you were already doing it. So it wasn't based off of your income from
no,
wholesale.
when I started, I just wanted to wholesale. I just wanted to make cash, just make cash. make
Yeah.
cash. I didn't really know about long term holding and all that stuff. I just wanted to make chunks of cash and quick. So, and then after that, you see these guys. Hey, this guy's got this many properties, and then I'm like, all right, I'm buying them at 70 cents on the dollar. Why don't I start holding some of these and have long term wealth? That's basically my retirement plan.
Yeah, because you're buying them
Yeah.
at an extremely good price. and you're selling them to people, and they're
For a
still
good
making
price.
money.
Yeah.
You know, so
That,
like
that
you're-
very first
you're
property we
killing it.
bought it for $15,000. It's a brick little rancher over off of Mechanicsville Turnpike area. that thing's probably worth like 180 grand right now. So
How much renovation did you have to do to it?
that one I rented out, so I've actually remodeled it several times because of crappy tenants. But I think we put maybe 20 grand into that thing when we started.
Wow.
You got 150,000 in equity just sitting there.
I assume you refied it since.
Nope.
Oh no.
No kids, so you don't have
Okay.
to fear.
All right, so that leads me to my next question. All right, so of your net worth, you don't have to disclose what that is, but of your net worth, how diversified are you? What are the percentages, right? What are you in? I mean, you might not want to say cash, but like, what are you in cash? What are you in real estate? Do you do stocks? Do you have other kind of investments like, I don't know,
I'm all in on real
gold
estate.
coins?
I'm all in on real estate.
Wow. Real estate
All in,
and cash.
all in on real
All
estate.
in.
All in cash
I
and real
think I
estate.
have I've got a self-directed IRA, but that's like got all real estate in it too. So, I try to keep it where I'm paying minimal taxes. But for me, it's just real estate, man. Like to me, it's the best investment that's out there. It's the
Yes.
safest. It's the most secured. I'm not. I did crypto for a little bit, but then I think I put like 20 grand into crypto years ago. It shot right up like right away, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Listen to a lot of guys in my mastermind. Crypto. So
Yeah.
I did it, and then it like dove back down, and it like lost money. I ended up selling that after a loss because I just wanted to. I was just tired of watching. So I'm just like, all right, I'm sticking to what I know. I'm sticking to what I'm good at. I know I'm good at real estate, finding deals, selling deals, and that's. I'll bet on myself all day. I'm not gonna bet on something.
Yeah, that's my thing. And it's tangible. It's not like
Yeah,
You
tangible,
own it,
touchable.
yeah.
Yes,
Here.
yeah.
absolutely.
Damn. Okay. All right. So wholesaling is not easy, right? Neither is real estate. It's a difficult thing, and you're always swimming against the stream. You're zigging when other people are zagging, right? So I'm sure you've come to certain points, certain times of the year, certain pivotal years that you just wanted to give up, right? Like, I mean, you're a big mindset guy. From the conversations we've had, from what I've heard on the outside, like, I mean, I'm sure you have quotes that just live in your head all the time that are like fueling you, right? But no matter how good you are, you'll have times that you're just like, maybe I need to go back, right? So what was that time, if you have an instance that comes to mind, and what was the thing that like put you back on track, or like, hell yeah, I'm not looking back?
That's a great question. I mean, I've probably thought about quitting completely, like, I don't know, three or four times, and I've probably been that close 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Doing it. But at the end of the day, like, when I'm sitting there and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go out and try to get a job. And, like, I'm just like, what am I gonna get? Like, I'm not a good employee. I don't like people telling me what to do.
I think my acquisitions guy
And then you look at the skill set that I have at wholesaling. Like, I can go out and make 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand on a deal, and it's like, you can't. I'm unhireable at this point, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's no way I could go back and work a job. There's no way I could ever do that.
And work for 3 months.
And that was my mindset when I was at that point. I'm like, man, it's just a lot. I just need to go back and just get a regular job. Like, and then I'm like, my check's only gonna be like maybe 10 grand, maybe a month. If I'm that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, less taxes.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, I can't sit there. I don't want to work for somebody else to make them rich. I'd rather work for myself and make myself rich and help other people get rich.
Yeah.
So build it up.
Since wholesaling is so cash heavy, I mean, you were already buying real estate before. Like, what are you ramping up as? Because if you multiplied 2 times your business from 2 years ago and from the last year to this year, you're obviously also having to like tax prep, right?
Yep.
You know, I mean, you're having to prepare for that. So is that a big motivator, other than like you wanting to retire and be financially free? Is that also another big motivator for you to like bump up your rental game?
Absolutely.
Or
That's
you
why
do
I
other stuff?
keep buying, and I'm really heavy on buy and holding right now because I'm making a lot of cash wholesaling, so I don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
I legally don't want to pay taxes.
It's legal.
It's not tax avoidance. It's just tax planning, right?
Yeah.
So if you're smart, you know how many properties you need to buy for depreciation to offset your capital gains on the wholesale side.
Yeah.
And I'm always like teetering on the edge of that, trying to play it, figure out what I need to do. You know, you can do things like cost segregation on your properties to get more write-offs. It's just
You're not doing that on single family stuff.
no,
Just the
on
multifamily
the
stuff.
multifamily
Okay.
stuff that I have. Yeah.
How often are you meeting with your accountant? Because like, I mean, your portfolio, I'm sure, is sizable, and the amount of volume that you do is sizable. So like, how often are you meeting with them? How often are you looking at those like reports, right? P&Ls,
Yep.
balance sheet, like how
That's
often?
something I need to get better at, honestly. I'm in the middle of switching the person that I use now.
Yeah.
And I did not meet enough with that person. So right now I've set a goal to go in and meet. Yeah, I'm trying to set up a monthly meeting with my accounting person that does it. So, but I talk to my bookkeeper and all that pretty much on a daily basis. We're going through stuff and strategizing a little bit with him. So
You have an in-house bookkeeper, right?
I guess kind of. My dad is my bookkeeper.
Okay,
so
got it.
He's kind of in-house, I guess.
Now, did he do this beforehand, or did you just kind of brought him into the
No, he's
business
just
too?
a control. No, he was a controller background, COO type background. So
Nice.
He was like an accountant in the military and all that stuff. So he knows books and
That's cool.
numbers and all that stuff. So yeah, he just.
So since this, you're able to bring in your whole family essentially
Yeah.
to your business, and
Yeah.
now it's a family-owned business.
Two of my sons work with me. My wife works with me. My dad works with me. So yeah, it's pretty.
That's awesome.
Pretty family oriented.
That's cool.
It's cool.
A couple other questions, and we kind of touched on it just a second ago. But if you weren't doing real estate now, right? So say you did the trucking thing, then you would have tried wholesaling. Say you would have given up way too soon because obviously you had massive success. What do you think you'd be doing now? I mean, I know that's morbid, right? Like it's like you're successful, but if you weren't successful, what would you be doing? Where do you
I mean, to be honest, I'd probably just be back at the truck dealership
You think so?
doing truck leasing, man. And, you know, I don't know. Like you just kind of. I think most people just get in that groove, and it's like you're comfortable there.
Yeah.
That's a comfortable life, and there's nothing wrong with a comfortable life. Like you know, it's a lot less stressful than the stresses that I have. That's for sure. But you know, I don't have that mentality. I can't sit there and just be average. It's not inside of me to be average and just be comfortable like that. I want to push myself and keep growing and keep expanding and seeing how good I can get, right?
Yeah.
That's the best. Like God put me here for a reason,
Yeah.
and it wasn't to be average. So I owe it to Him and to myself and to everyone. You know,
Yeah.
the people that I want to help in my coaching business. You know, I owe it to them to be better, to grow, to learn,
Yeah.
so I can teach them that stuff too and pay it forward. So,
Yeah.
Now, do you think your sales background helped you be as successful as you are in wholesaling and real estate?
Absolutely.
Do you think that still helps you? Because I feel like that helped you significantly before, but do you think it still is like a very big part of the reason you're successful?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
real estate, it's not real estate. It's wholesaling business. It's marketing and sales. It's
Yeah.
literally all it is: marketing and sales. Marketing and sales, and then you got the numbers in between, right?
Yeah.
So it's just real estate is the commodity that you're working with.
That's
Yeah.
your brokering.
In the business, you have to send out marketing, right, to get leads, to make offers, to get deals. If you're not doing that, that's one issue. On the other side of it is if you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to close, you're gonna waste all the money that you did over here because you can't have a conversation with somebody and figure out what they need help with. So it's heavy marketing, heavy sales, and you want to get as good as you can in the marketing side and as good as you can in the sales side. If you're not good at the sales side, hire somebody out that is good at the sales side, and then just you focus on the marketing side.
Yeah.
So
So to follow up on your question, college. Did you go to college?
I did. Yep.
You did go to college.
Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. Had a wrestling scholarship to go there.
Oh, no way.
Nice.
You wanna do some wrestling then?
I don't wrestle dudes.
Carlos wrestled too.
I don't wrestle dudes anymore.
All right. So you wholesale obviously, and then you mentioned the flips and you do it through wholesaling. Do you have a project manager that manages that? Is it your son who manages? Because it sounds like it's not a whole lot of your portfolio that you like flip, right? It sounds like it's like, unless it's call a couple sellers and it's like, hey, I need some carpet, do some tile, and then.
Yeah, we have a lot of contractors already set up in place, so they handle the majority of it. I've had project managers. I'm currently looking for one, so if you want to come work with me, hit me up. We just haven't been able to find the right person for the right fit for that job over the last couple hires that we've done. We've let 2 of them go. You know, it's just, to me, like, most project managers want a $100,000 salary. You know, I'm a small business. I'm not gonna just throw out a $100,000 salary right off the bat because somebody thinks they deserve it. Like, you know, I start my base for my project people a lot lower than that, and then they have the opportunity to earn after that if they get projects done on time, if the numbers come back on plan. Like, you know, they turn rental properties or get rental tenants, because the project manager I want is also managing my rental portfolio. The tenants, all that stuff. So they're dealing with tenants, they're dealing with rental repairs, as well as the projects, and basically handling all that stuff. Anything maintenance related, which is
So
all houses.
maintenance, rentals, and turns, and like turning new houses you buy into rentals.
Yep.
So please send your resume to
Yeah, take it.
Todd Miller at
Todd at USA-homebuyers.com.
Nice.
resume. Okay, so you don't have somebody currently now, but it's just something that everybody kind of tags team until you find somebody to fill
Yep,
in.
I'm
that
doing a
space.
lot of it. My sons step in and do a lot of it too, so it's just kind of, we're just making it work right now.
You enjoy it?
It's a big no, I do not.
But where you're at in your business,
Yeah.
now that you get to pick and choose what you like to do the most, what job is it that you want to like focus on and get to do, and other than everything like you used to do?
I like basically a couple things. One, I like sales training. I still love that. Like, you know, I'll hop on the phone and do some calls every now and then, not consistently, but I like training that team, and then basically just going out and talking to other people on how I can grow my company. So
Nice.
again,
So
I'm the visionary. My wife is the implementer. You know, you needed a visionary to come up with the ideas. You need an implementer to put it all in place, right? So that's another reason why we meld very well together. You know, I just want to keep coming up with ideas. I'm really focused on raising capital right now, you know, so we can do more deals as well. Like, you got to have the money lined up. You don't want to go to people when you need money. You want to find the money when you don't need it and then put it to work, right?
Nice.
So focused on doing that, finding private lenders that want safe, solid returns on the deals that we do, and getting better than, you know, bank rates and stuff like that. So just long term, just setting ourselves up to where we can buy any and every deal that we come across, whether we get into commercial stuff or, you know, apartment complexes, all that stuff. Like, I'm always wanting to do bigger deals instead of, you know, keep grinding, doing these wholesale deals, $10,000 to $20,000 deals. It's the same amount of work, so let's do a $200,000 deal. Let's do $1 million deal. So, right?
Yep.
It's just thinking bigger, growing your mindset, and growing your capabilities.
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions is, based on what's going on in the market now, like, how's that shifting kind of, you know, like, your outlook? What are you doing different? And I guess if you're having these conversations with these lenders, because you're looking to be cash heavy, cash ready, right?
So you're keeping and buying more than you used, or you're looking to keep and buy more than you used to be, like, let's say 2 or 3 years
I mean, I can't wait for the dip, right? So it's already started. Our lead volume has gone up significantly in the last month or so. You know, we're having better conversations with people. There's finally like some motivation coming back to the market. Where before it's everybody could just list their property with a realtor and get above asking price, so it was a little more difficult. But you know, just keeping our head down, staying focused, just being consistent. Like, really, that's what it takes to be successful. Is just being consistent, showing up every day, and you know, we're just staying focused and just keeping the head down. Add another person here, add another person there, slowly, and growing up.
Yeah.
So
if there was a new person who hasn't done anything in real estate, they're looking to get in, they've heard of the hype, they've seen the hype, obviously things are changing, what advice or what would you recommend that they do? They've never done a deal, they don't have a rental, they might have a decent job, but like,
Have you heard about wholesaling?
Yeah, I heard about wholesaling, heard about flipping, heard about like.
Just basically dive in, social media. You can find a lot of stuff on social media. You can find a lot of stuff on YouTube. Learn, grow. I have a group, Undefeated Real Estate. It's undefeatedrealestate.com. They can come and join my group if they want to learn as well. Just dive in and learn. That's the action step that I took. I was just dove in. It took me 2 years to do my first deal. I didn't quit. I didn't give up. Got to have mindset behind it and know that you're gonna fail. A lot, right? I failed a whole bunch before I did my first deal, but you can't give up on your dreams and give up on what you want. Real estate and wholesaling is actually pretty easy. You said it was hard earlier. It's not hard. It's an easy process, right? You get leads, you make offers, you get deals. That's pretty simple, right? And if you know numbers, you just know how many you need in each level, right? But the hard part is the mind, right? The mind, the focus. You get discouraged as humans, and the mind's job is to protect you. So literally, when you have failure, it wants you to shut down, and you have to fight that urge inside of your mind to shut down and learn to push through that. I tell all my sales guys, dude, you gotta know, that's awesome, great job, you gotta know, you're one more closer to that yes, right? We need 99 no's before we get the one yes. So go out, just get 99 no's. The next one's a yes, right?
Yeah.
It's getting back to mindset. Yeah. So
speaking of mindset, is there a mindset coach that you meet up with weekly or monthly besides the masterminds? Is there someone or something that
keep you on track?
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, I hired a fitness coach, and he actually ended up being heavy in mindset. And his name is John Madsen. He has a podcast called The Show, and basically, I owe a lot of my mindset just to hiring him as one of my fitness coaches, and he really changed my life and my mindset a couple years ago. And I think that's again why my business has kind of taken off the way it has, because I just basically have been listening to him and growing with him and basically just putting stuff into action. So I kind of, what was your question again?
Do you meet with someone?
Mindset. I don't meet with anybody, but I listen to his podcast every week. I listen to Ed Milet. I'm into a lot more podcasts about mindset. Lewis Howes is another one that I listen to. So just, if I'm at the gym working out, I'm listening to podcasts, right? If I'm driving, I'm listening to podcasts. So just trying to keep positive stuff in your head and just growing in that as well.
So a good segue for that would be, what's your all-time favorite quote or saying or story that you live by, or anything that keeps you?
Just really for me, if you get knocked down, just get back up. There's that Rocky quote. I don't know which Rocky it's from, but when he's talking about it's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit. Keep moving forward, right? So that's kind of what I live by. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but the one thing I know, my superpower is I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to keep trying and keep growing until I get it done.
Yeah.
So
I have a
quit.
random question. How much has wrestling put that mindset on? You think wrestling was a big part of the way your mind thinks?
Wrestling, I don't know per se if it's the way I think, but just the competitiveness of it, being able to compete in sports. I've always been a very competitive person. So at a very young age, I was competitive, whether it's baseball, wrestling, golf, whatever it was. And I think sports in general is a great atmosphere to be around, just to because you're always pushing to be better and grow, and it's the same mentality basically. If I hire somebody, I love if they play sports. I love when they tell me I'm super competitive. That's the type of person I want. I want my sales guys to compete, right? I want them to feel bad when they are the worst salesman that month. I want them to be the top salesman each month, right? And just be pushing.
So now salespeople, how many salespeople do you have now that go out and pursue the leads that the VAs bring in?
We have 3 that do
3. Okay, nice. And then they go out, they're your closers.
Yeah,
Essentially, they go
yeah.
and close the deal, lock it up,
Yep.
get it under contract, and then from there, you have another acquisitions team that takes over to
Our disposition team.
dispositions to
Yeah,
send
they
to
take
buyers.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So our acquisition guys, they just focus on locking up deals, and that's it.
Nice.
They don't have to sell them or anything like that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
How do you help your team avoid burnout?
How do I help them or not?
'Cause it's
very repetitive.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
We just have
repetitive.
fun, I guess. You know, I mean, you guys are in my office today. You see, we
Yeah.
have pool tables, we have dartboards, we have shuffleboards. You know, we'll have a drink or two. You know, in the afternoon if we're having a good week. You know, taking them out to eat. Like just also just being thankful. You know, telling them when they do a good job, right? Not a lot of people do that. We'll do bonuses and stuff, bonus incentives. Like maybe it's not monetary stuff they want. They want a trip, or they want to go to a game, or they want to do events or something like that. So it's just doing those little things, and giving them the recognition is the main thing.
Now, do y'all have not quotas, but do y'all have sales goals for every week, every month,
Yeah.
quarter, and things like
Every
that?
month, the guys they're required to do like 85 grand a month.
Okay, so
in
it's a
close
dollar amount.
revenue. Yeah.
Close revenue.
Yeah.
85 grand combined.
No,
No,
Oh.
just straight wholesale.
Wow.
each person. Yeah.
Wow.
And really, my goal for them is 100K.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And now, to get to 100K, just for the people listening that are beginners, is that could be 10 deals, could be 15, or is that?
Our average deal size right now is about 22,000, somewhere in that realm. So
Okay,
it's
wholesale fee is about
yeah,
22
It's
grand.
about five closings a month.
Okay,
And their true goal is to lock up 2 to 3 contracts each week. So we
Nice.
try to take a big goal and then break it down, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
at the end of the day, all they gotta do is lock up 2 to 3 deals
wow.
each week.
Each week, yeah.
So
And by
a
doing
deal,
that-
a deal every other day, right?
That month is gonna be, they're gonna meet their goal by the
Yeah.
end of the month by doing that.
Yeah, they'll crush their goal. if they
That's
do that.
awesome.
Yeah.
So then, do they have yearly incentives if they hit X amount one? So that would be
I give them a kicker. If they get over the 85 grand, they get a 2% kicker on top of their regular commission, which is
Nice.
retroactive on everything. So,
That's cool.
yep. And then we'll do competitions every now and then.
Yeah.
We have a top salesman of the month award. We've got like the belts and all that stuff.
Nice.
Before then, they get to wear that around the office and put it in people's faces.
That's cool. Mr. Salesman, it's all about that
Yeah,
recognition.
yeah. What about the VAs? Top dog.
VAs have one too. Actually, I got a belt for the VAs, and then the first VA we gave it to ended up quitting and took the belt. She went from the VA of the month with the belt to she quit.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So now, going into next year, you're getting cash heavy. That means that you expect, where do you see the market going for the next for 6 months or so? Not even say a year. Let's see, going into next year.
Yeah, because you're kind of preparing for the next few months.
phase,
not,
yeah,
not,
next
not
phase.
a couple years, maybe, but
Yeah, I mean, just everything shows that the market's going to keep going down, interest rates are going to keep going up, which excites me because we're going to get better deals. So,
Yes.
I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm going to go heavy. We'll probably enter into 1 or 2 more markets by the time next year hits, as well, and expand salespeople and all that. So we're still in expansion mode. So even though the market's going down, it's a good thing for wholesaler and for me.
Nice.
We'll shed some of that those wannabe wholesaling people that are out there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they've already
You've
slimmed
already
down.
seen a lot of them
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
off
yeah.
over the last 6,
Yeah.
or actually the last year they've dropped off because
Yeah.
it's been hard for a wholesaler getting started over the last year.
Yep.
Because why wouldn't you just list your house? Like you were saying earlier.
Correct.
Yeah.
You think that's why you're getting more leads nowadays?
Now,
Yep.
yeah. Because now you can't just go put your house on the market and sell for 30,000 over asking.
No.
they're not getting that many postcards or calls. And
Exactly.
if you have somebody that's getting in touch with you 9 times,
Oh yeah, you're just
and
yeah.
they have an office and website,
You have credibility at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think
Right.
Anything else?
No, he crushed it.
I'm an overhead. I'm an overhead.
Where can people find your deals, or where can they
Yeah, get
learn
on the
more
buyers
about-
list.
or whatever? I've never heard of the undefeated
Undefeated
club.
Real Estate.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, that's my coaching group. They can just again go to undefeatedrealestate.com. It's all the blogs on there and everything. I also do a free meetup once a month here in Richmond if you're in RVA. We do that the first Saturday of every month over at one of our co-working spaces called Balance RVA. You can find me on Facebook, Todd Miller. Instagram is Todd Miller 1973. So just anywhere, any one of those.
Now we know how old you are.
That's right. Going on 29.
So the group's mainly directed towards wholesalers. They're wholesaling, or is it?
Yeah, training and teaching anybody
Okay.
that wants to learn the wholesaling game. So yep.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Sweet.
Well, any other closing remarks from anybody?
No.
I
I think that's it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do
Doing
this.
it again?
Yeah, we close on it too.
All right, let's do it.
All right, that was Generation